You're listening to the Rotten Gems podcast,
where four dudes talk about movies that we love,
that critics maybe thought should be eliminated, along with the rest of the Gorgonite scum.
Let's get rotten.
Marcus and I saw this in other theaters.
What do we always say? Let's get right.
I think I'll wed
The Rotten Gems. If you're still listening, whether it's on purpose or you were kidnapped, taken hostage, and now you're tied up to a chair right now, and this podcast is playing as a form of psychological warfare, well, we thank you. Who exactly is we, though? I think it's time I introduce you to my co-hosts.
I'm Keenan.
I'm Marcus.
And I'm John. And I am Brett, and we are your Rotten Gems crew. Guys,
this pleases me.
Guys, today is a very special day. It is the day that we talk about small soldiers.
I'm going to be going crazy on this board today.
As you can see, we've gotten some more sounds to the
We
soundboard.
approve, and so does the audience.
So, with this being said, we're talking about Small Soldiers, the 1998 hit film directed by Joe Dante. Does anybody know that name?
Rings a bell, but no.
Joe Dante.
Doesn't even ring a bell.
What if I told you he directed... What if I told you he directed another movie kind of similar to Small Soldiers?
Was it Gremlins?
It was Gremlins,
Wow.
yes.
This whole movie.
It
was
reminded you of Gremlins.
Very
Yeah.
Gremlins, right? Especially down to the password. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, directed by Joe Dante, writers Gavin Scott, Adam Rifkin, and Ted Elliott. So yeah, this movie, shockingly, didn't do too well with the critics. It is currently sitting at a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Now we don't even have to boo ourselves. Just press a button now.
Now, this one is a little bit unlike our other ones, guys, because this one the fans didn't really like either. It's sitting even lower with a 45% from fans and a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Out of 98,000 reviews, that is 6.2 satellite dishes, 6.2 flaming tennis ball shooters, or 6.2 munitions ships in toys out of 10. So, if you haven't seen Small Soldiers, starring Kirsten Dunst, Gregory Smith, and David Cross, you're welcome to stick around. Just know that if you choose to, you will be spoiled on a 1998 movie. So I need to ask, guys, when you first saw this movie, how hyped were you?
So I loved it. I saw it as a little kid, and I saw it in theaters with Keenan. We went cosplayed, but not as the soldiers or the Gorgonites. Cosplayed as the two dads.
Alan.
But no, seriously, I loved it watching it in theaters. I was stoked.
So 98, how old would you have been?
9.
9. You saw this as a 9-year-old in theaters?
That's what I was going to say. I don't think we should have saw this as kids because this is a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it freaked me out a little bit, but...
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. John, what about you? When do you remember when you first saw this movie?
I'll be honest. I first saw it at home. Like, this is a movie that I wasn't overly hyped for. Like, I didn't know about it in the theaters, but when I first saw it, hyped after that.
Hyped?
Yeah.
You were still like, what, single digit age, you think?
I was 9 as well.
9, yeah.
Yep.
Keenan?
Yeah, I remember watching this on VHS all the time because the case of the movie is just very iconic and very memorable.
That is true.
Still
Still at my mom's house.
Funny you mention that. This is actually one of the only PG-13 movies to ever be sold on video cassette in a clamshell case. It was also the last.
Oh, are those the Disney movies?
Yeah, the Disney
ones,
ones,
yeah.
yeah.
Those are called clamshell?
Clamshell, yeah.
That's a classy name.
Wow.
Every time I go to like a
Very
thrift-
aerial of
yeah,
them.
I was just gonna say, dude, literally what I was gonna say is every time I go to a thrift store like Savers or Goodwill or anything, they always have some VHS tapes, and I go and look specifically to see like, oh, I had that one when I was a kid, but I'm always looking for that Little Mermaid case. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with the
It's
penis.
at my parents' house.
You have it?
Yeah.
What?
And there's a note inside that's like, for Robbie and John. My brother's Robbie. It's okay. Hope you're listening. But it's just, and then I look at it
Better
like,
be listening.
you got it. I was like,
We
Mom,
need you.
look at this case. And she's like, what? I'm like,
There's a
oh,
dick.
you know, look at that.
Like it's got to be. I think it's worth something, right? Like I don't know if it's an absurd amount of money or whatnot, but
I'm sure it's a lot of people's too. Like,
More than I have. 20, 30 bucks.
fair. We're still in debt for all this equipment we got.
is everybody else's, whoever has those clamshells, which new learning, thank you,
Right.
Brett, for that. They're crazy about it. Like my mom, she'll die with those things. Like she'll never get rid of them. Like I'm sure my dad in a heartbeat would be like, all right, they're out of the house.
I was
And
like, I don't know if my family really cares.
my
too
mom
much,
is
but-
psycho about them.
I don't know. I feel like, are we getting to like a time where collectibles can't exist? Everybody's collecting everything, thinking they're going to be worth something in the future, but they're no longer going to be valuable.
But because everyone is collecting everything, they're proving those people. They're proving the people that collected everything right. Somebody's going to want this someday, and if somebody now in 2022 is buying a Charizard Pokemon card, then the hoarder pack mentality I had when I was like 8 years old is correct, right? Somebody's going to want it someday.
I think it's just less likely now for something to really be a collector's item because it's out there.
Just invest in NFTs.
They're going to be around forever.
God, okay. And on that note, but yeah, so I also loved this movie as a kid. I actually saw this movie without my parents' permission. I was not allowed to watch this movie. So what's really interesting is this movie is rated PG-13, yet they made kids' toys about it, and it was actually a Happy Meal toy at Burger King.
That's what's so confusing about this is I don't know who this is meant for. It's like they wanted it for kids, but they wanted it to be a teenage movie.
I'm glad you said that because, usually at the top of these, we like to read a bad review and then discuss the movie and then revisit that review. So there's a review from Kevin Lowley of Film Journal International who says he scored it rotten. He said, a charmless and often mean-spirited kids movie that no kid under 8 should be taken to see.
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That's all I heard
Exactly.
when you were reading that.
Every
Exactly.
reviewer ever.
So at first I was like, it's a PG-13 movie, but of course no kid under 8 is seeing this. But then looking back and seeing like, oh, wow, like they made toys. I'm pretty sure I had one. Did you guys have Small Soldiers toys?
No, I was going to ask you guys if that was a thing because I was watching the movie like thinking
I did.
I kind of want to have these. Like outside of the like murderous rampage they go on, those would be pretty sick.
Honestly, yes, definitely. So, like I said, they were toys. Get this shit, right? Burger King agreed to market the film with its kids' meals before they knew it was a PG-13 movie, and they still did it afterwards. The film was released soon after in Oregon, state of Oregon, a teen named Kip Kinkle killed his parents, then went on a shooting rampage at his high school, killing 2 students and wounding 25. There's one of the soldiers in the movie. His name is Kip Killigan. Very, very similar name to him, and as a result, they did not distribute his toys in Oregon.
Probably a good call.
Yes, absolutely.
That's bananas.
Isn't that insane?
Holy crap.
Yeah. But anyway, getting us back on track here.
Well, that's it for this episode.
Getting us back on track here, though, I was definitely not allowed to watch this movie, but I can't remember where I saw it. If my dad showed it to me, because that's where I saw all the movies I wasn't allowed to see with my dad. What's up, Dad? Or like a neighbor kid or something, and I don't know. But I've only seen this movie a handful of times, not like some of the other ones we've talked about where I can quote relentlessly, but.
Like Life Aquatic?
Yeah, sure. But one thing that really happened with me during this rewatch is, do you guys ever watch an old movie and then you recognize every single person in the cast and you're like, oh wow, this person's in there, but you didn't know who they were when you first saw them?
Yeah.
David Cross, I'm like, oh, David Cross. Dennis Leary, Kirsten Dunst, all these people.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah, exactly.
Rest in peace.
He plays the greatest shithead
sleazy
neighbor.
neighbor.
Yeah.
He's always the sleazy
Right.
neighbor.
All I could think of was just Jingle All the Way. When I was watching it this time again, I was like, you play the same exact character.
He's so good at it.
He is really good at it.
So if you're completely lost in this discussion because you haven't seen Small Soldiers, let me give you a quick little synopsis here. So here's what I found. A toy company believes it is onto something when it employs the latest government military technology in a series of action figures, enabling them to talk. As the two opposing sides of the toy line start thinking for themselves and engaging in real combat, Alan and his neighbor, Christy, with the help of the Gorgonites, must protect his home and family from the commandos. Hope that's ringing some bells because maybe you've seen it, although I feel like you wouldn't forget it if you have. So with that being said, what were your guys' first impressions going into this? Were you excited to watch this again? Were you dreading it? I know some of these were like, oh yeah, we've seen these. A lot of like, oh, I'm so excited to watch this or not. But what do you think?
So going into this, I honestly didn't think I was going to enjoy this movie. Yeah, thinking about this movie, I thought it was just going to be me reminiscing about my childhood and just thinking back to that time, but I actually enjoyed it. I cry too much during movies.
Especially ones that Robin Williams are in.
Do I need to talk to somebody?
You're going to have another therapy session here soon.
For me, I was very excited to be able to watch this movie again because I've watched it recently. I'll be honest, like within the last couple months,
Yeah.
I saw it because it's just a good. I mean, maybe it's a good movie. You have to wait. You have to listen to be able to tell. But I was excited.
That's how we get them.
Yeah, that's how we get cliffhanger. But I was excited to watch it. Like I was looking forward to it.
And I want to touch on something John just said. We ourselves liking a movie doesn't mean it's a good one. We get it wrong sometimes, but we love it, and that's why we're here.
I'm not admitting to being wrong.
That's fair. I will.
You can ask my wife. I never do that.
How's it going, Marcus? What do you think?
All right. So honestly, I was not excited to rewatch it. Like I thought I was going to be disappointed. Like I was like, this.
Where's that boo button?
Where? Well, hold on.
Yeah, easy.
But when I did rewatch it, it was awesome. Like I was like,
Whoa.
this is an entertaining movie. I was expecting to be like bored because sometimes, you know, kid movies that you watch 15 years later are kind of boring, but
To your own point, though, is this a kid's movie?
yeah, but then again, we found out that this might not be a kid's movie, and I was really entertained.
All right, guys. And with that, I think it's time we jump into this movie here, beginning with our opening scene. We're watching the infomercial, infographic, whatever you would like to call it, for the Globotech company here, which right away, you know, if a company starts with the word Globo, it's not going to be good. Globotech, Globo Gym, it happens everywhere, guys. Right off the bat, we're watching this infomercial for this company, Globotech, and we're introduced in this commercial to the CEO of Globotech, which is Gil Mars, played by Dennis Leary, which completely forgot he was in that.
Yeah, same.
I mean, he's only in it for what, a total of 60 seconds of screen time?
Yeah.
Basically, and he's in a hurry 100% of the time.
Which was probably real life. He was in a hurry to record it.
But right away, this infomercial is already kind of troubling, and it's because it's a technology company that allows for advanced battlefield technology in the hands of everyday consumers. That sounds promising. I'm sure nothing bad will happen with that, guys. What do you think?
I mean, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. So then it cuts to Heartland Play Systems, which is a toy company, but it's a division of Globotech. So I have to ask, what is the overlap? Why does a company that specializes with battle technology be like, yeah, you know, I think we can acquire a toy company? Like,
Get the kids young.
Money.
Slayer wants to make some money.
Money.
Yeah.
That's getting the kids young. That's recruitment.
that's, capitalist
easy.
America. Capitalist America at its finest.
We love it.
Yes, we love it.
We love it, Brett.
So then we meet the only two types of employees in existence, played by David Cross and Jay Moore. David Cross playing Irwin, Jay Moore playing Larry. So Irwin is the focused on the consumer. He's at a toy company. He's there to make toys that kids will enjoy. Larry's just, it's a job. He's there to make money. He's there for profits, right? So they're about to meet the CEO coming up to pitch their toys. And Irwin is really hoping that he likes the toy design. And he's just really afraid that the CEO, Gil Mars, is only going to care about the profits. And, Larry gives him a wake-up call. Yeah, of course he does. That's how the world works. And didn't expect this movie to get that real that quick, but here we are.
I mean, I got to say, I figured out instantly why this movie rated so low. It has David Cross. David Cross is amazing in everything he does, but it instantly gets canceled for whatever reason.
Don't Arrested Development me like that.
So many things. Yeah, just go to his IMDb.
I love David Cross.
Canceled.
But something interesting happens right before they go in to meet Mr. Mars. They meet his executive assistant, whose name is Miss Kegel. Did you guys catch that?
Oh, yeah, I did. I thought they were going to make a joke about it, but
I really thought they were too. I really thought they were too, but they never made a single joke about that, and I don't know why they chose that name, aside from, adults will like that in this kids movie,
Teenagers would make jokes about that, probably.
I mean, do they know what that is?
Do we know what that is?
It's like, I'll be honest, I didn't know what that was.
We are 4 dudes. So then anyways, it's the pitch meeting time. So Larry and Irwin, here they are pitching their respective toys to Mr. Gilmars, and he's in a hurry. He arrived at this meeting. He plans to stay for all, 60 seconds? So they got to get their pitches out there quick. So Irwin pitches his Gorgonites idea, saying that he'll help the kids learn.
whoa.
So then... That's what Gilmar said. But then Larry comes in with his excellent pitch, and we see a commercial that they've already filmed. They've already put a lot of budget into this commercial for the Commando Elite, starring Major Chip Hazard, voiced by Tommy Lee Jones, by the way. Amazing.
Legit.
Amazing. Yeah. And Mars asks 3 questions during this infomercial here. What if these toys actually could talk? What if they could walk? What if they could actually kick ass? Yeah. Yeah.
Which that scene, one of the most interesting parts about it too is where, so he's like talking about the Gorgonites. He's like, look at these little posters, and then of course, before he breaks out the multimedia, because multimedia, grow up. It's in this nice case, and he's like, here we go. Unlocks it, flips open. Major Chip Hazard. It was just amazing how he
already had a prototype mode. Yeah.
Why did he get the budget for that?
Well, and when I was watching, I was like, you know what? Larry's pretty good at his job.
Yeah.
No,
For
Larry
being
is a
like
salesman.
for being like a sleazy guy, he's
Well,
succeeding.
He's good at his job so far.
I mean, he kind of did really well.
I mean, if I'm having somebody pitching me some toys, this guy's got cardboard. This guy's got a sealed case that was attached to his wrist and multimedia.
I mean,
Deal is done.
if they gave him more than 3 months, he probably could have delivered.
That's fair. But now we get our slogan, the Commando Elite. Everything else is just a toy. So now Mars, having seen the pitch for both the Gorgonites, which he wasn't a fan of, and the Commando Elite, which he seems to love, he wants the Gorgonites to be the Commando Elite's enemies. And there's a little bit of concern in the room, but he follows the concern up with a question. What are you worried about? They're only toys. Sure, nothing bad will happen, right, guys?
Boom. Exit the room.
Exit the room.
Don't care.
Yeah, so he leaves the room. He's in there for literally all of 2 minutes, right? And it goes back to our Larry and Irwin here, and Miss Kegel approaches them. Miss Kegel approaches them to let them know of their tight deadline. Boo.
Again, I don't know if we know what that means.
You can try as many times as you want.
So their tight deadline of 3 months to start getting these toys out there. So they got the green light, and this deadline comes as a bit of a shock so far, which he already had the chip hazard prototype. So how much more needs to be done with that?
Marketing. He said a couple other things I wasn't listening.
Fair. And at this point, we still don't know how much these toys are going to cost, right? The whole time I'm like, how much are they? How much are they? How much is all of the components? We'll get to that eventually, but at this point, we don't know. So she hands the boys their security cards and gives them their own little password to access the server, the company server. And so Erwin, being dumb, instantly says his password out loud, and it's Gizmo, another nod to Joe Dante's previous director moment there in Gremlins, 1984. And I just have to say, this is a top military defense company, and the only thing keeping anybody out is a 5-digit password.
With no special characters.
No caps.
No numbers.
Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Great password. And also, I've never been handed a password. And I'm like, here's your password that you can't change.
Yeah, that's not secure at all.
Yeah.
I've been handed.
I was like, that's one.
Kegel
When I
knows
started,
tests and
they
stuff.
handed you a password.
Like a temporary one, right?
Yeah, temporary
But
one.
then you miss it.
I'm sure Gizmo was temporary as well.
Well, yeah, until he was fed,
Well, true. Yeah.
after midnight. Or got
I
wet.
think we're mixing movies again.
Yeah.
That happens
So,
sometimes.
is this part of the universe of Gremlins then? Like, is that
So
what's happening with that?
jumping ahead, in the dumpster there's a Gizmo toy.
I saw that,
So I don't think it's in the same universe.
but it
It's-
exists as
It
a movie.
exists, yeah.
Okay.
Is this also in the same universe as Toy Story? If so, Andy needs to get out.
Yeah,
Get out, Andy.
These toys were a lot more nonchalant with their. Yeah, you discovered me. Cool, awesome. Can you imagine if the Toy Story toys were like that?
Shut up, Alan.
They were, but it was very confusing to like them hiding their sentience for a while. Like there's a couple of times I think Archer later
Yeah.
on like doesn't
At the beginning.
move. And then at the beginning he's just like, I don't know, I might let you know.
So I don't know if it was this movie or Toy Story, but did anybody else as a kid just go and like talk to your toys every now and then to be like, "Hey, are you alive? Tell me right now."
I didn't do that, and I didn't spit on the floor to clean.
Leave me alone. I was a weird kid. Not much has changed. Now I'm just a weird adult. Anyway, if you did talk to your toys as a kid, let us know. So it's nice to know that I'm not alone here.
Is that what you said to your toys?
They're like, yeah, you have the receipt. You're fine.
I really don't have a say in the matter.
Yeah. So after Miss Kegel gives the boys their passwords, it's literally the very next scene. And Larry is ordering the parts needed to make these toys. And the dumbass forgot his password. We never knew what his password is. But he remembers Irwin's, which is Gizmo. And the reason this scene pissed me off so much is because if Irwin's password was that simple, Larry's had to have also been that simple, right?
Also, the fact that he has to say it out loud bugs me.
Gizmo.
I'm never sitting in my computer desk just like, oh, what's my password? Gizmo.
Yeah.
Gizmo.
You will now.
Nobody's listening.
You will now. You will now.
But didn't you expect? So when I watched it, this is a unique thought. This watched through. I was like, oh, when she takes it from him, she's like, I said secret, loser.
She would have changed it.
Yeah. And then this one, I'm like, and he puts Gizmo. I was like, dang, I thought she was changing it on this one. Like, I just forgot. But
This is a military
Yeah.
company. You think that would be very strict. Yeah.
And then I like how when he searched for the,
Oh my gosh,
when he searches
that part
for
was
the
amazing.
the microprocessor chips, and it's like, yes, state of the art.
Well, he's like amazing once, and he's like state of the art. Yeah,
A lot of chips.
a lot of
Surplus. He put surplus. I was like, what?
Felt like I was watching like a 4th grade video or
Yeah.
something.
They
of,
have like a
synonyms.
Netflix star rating. Like everybody who uses the microchips has to put in a rating of 1 to 5 stars.
And state of the art is
So yeah,
5.5.
after he punches in all of his search parameters here, he lands on one result, the X1000 chip which in big letters it says military. So I don't know if we weren't doing our critical thinking in the chat when we ordered that chip there. But also what bothered me about this scene is he straight up just ordered 500,000 of these chips, and not once did it say anything about a price in the screen. I was looking like, price per unit.
That was triggering.
Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to find out how much these chips cost in relation to toy sales.
This was the 90s economy. Don't worry about it.
And it was
that
a surplus.
stuff.
They were like, just give them away.
Yeah.
And why?
Part of the company. I don't know.
Why is he ordering so many up at top? Like, he doesn't even know if these work to start with.
That's fair. There was literally not one example of what this chip has been in before that. Right.
And honestly, total access to everything.
Yeah, if you're given total access after just a pitch meeting, like, there's got to be access levels, right? It just seemed like they had the keys to the company at that point.
Welcome to the company. You have access to everything except the executive bathroom. That is mine.
And
I don't know.
And Miss Kegel's.
My name is Kegel for a reason.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah, she even emphasized it, which was a little weird. Here's like your total access to everything.
Which, do you need that if you're
wink.
making toys?
Yeah. Make those Gorgonites
Anyway,
the best they can be.
Company infrastructure problems aside, at this point we meet our main character of the movie, Mr. Allen. He's working at his dad's shop. He's getting in a shipment of toys from this truck driver that he's real buddy with. Apparently, like they
Also in Gremlins.
was he?
Yeah, he's the neighbor in Gremlins.
It's
He
been a while.
basically plays the same guy. And so that brings me back to if the Gremlins is a movie in there, that guy would have been like...
Was he a truck driver in Gremlins? I'll be honest, I don't remember.
Was his name Joe in Gremlins?
Yeah.
It might have been.
It might have been.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while either. I saw Gremlins 2
Yeah.
more recently, and he's like...
Isn't there like 4 Gremlins now? There's like a lot of them.
No, I think there's only 2.
Oh, good.
I'm
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I like those
Yeah.
movies. And then like one of the other employees is also from Gremlins too. The guy that sneezes in his clean suit.
Oh, he is
later
from
on.
Gremlins.
Later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere in the movie sometime later on.
So it's the Joe Dante cinematic universe. We got it.
Man's got an ego.
But Joe is there delivering some toys to Alan for his father's toy shop. But his father has one rule: no war toys, which is a very weird rule to have, I guess. But Alan spies the boxes in the back of Joe's truck that are labeled Gorgonites and Commando Elite. They get a little curious. So what do?
They just open
It's
up.
like they break into them. Yeah.
They just open up toys that are supposed to go to a completely different store. Yeah.
F Toy World is what they said.
Have you ever opened a toy and just repackaged it so easily?
What's even worse is like they had those like twist ties on them and shit, and these people are like taking them out and manhandling them. I'm like, guys, like what the hell?
One of the things that stood out to me too this time is that Joe, this amazing truck driver Joe that probably was in The Sopranos too, he literally undid one of those twist ties with just like 1 second. Was just like,
He's a pro.
just one hand,
Ladies.
like 2 fingers, one of those things, and was just like instantly it was off, and you're like, bro, that doesn't happen that way.
And
Ladies.
bra straps everywhere, unsnapped.
He just walks into the room and it's just like,
What was that?
what the heck?
So yeah, they go back there and they bust out Archer from the Gorgonites and Major Chip Hazard of the Commando Elite, and they find out how advanced these toys are. They're voice activated.
That's what it sounded like to me. All right, we can't get copyright.
Yeah.
So they find out how sophisticated these toys are when they basically talk. They're voice activated. They're very sophisticated, unlike anything either of them have ever seen. So Alan convinces Joe to, quote, let a set fall off the truck. And so his plan is to take the toys, sell them while his dad's out to make the store a little bit of money, and then he'd pay Joe back from what he met or from what he lost. Which that whole arrangement already confused me, because if you're Joe and a set of toys fell off the back of your truck, you're going to go deliver this to the store. You're going to be down a set. What's he going to say? Oh, I don't know. This is what's on my truck, right? So then Alan himself is going to pay Joe, who at that point isn't going to then go pay the store. So Joe is just pocketing that money.
It's a write-off.
Yeah.
What's a write-off?
And you know, it could
They
be.
write it off.
Yeah. You
Did
don't
it
even
make
know what
sense?
a write-off is, do you? Maybe. Yeah.
It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But now is where we meet Christy, played by a young Kirsten Dunst. And she brings in her little brother. And he's trying to find a toy that he wants for his birthday, because it's coming up here. And he just wanders into the back room of the shop. You know what you do when you go to the store.
As a kid,
Yeah.
you are one to do.
As an adult. And he sees the toys in the middle of a standoff. And as soon as he walks in the room, we hear off camera Major Chip Hazard say, "Civilian, declare your allegiance." Then he gets shot in the face with a dart. And this kid's instant reaction is, "Ow! Hey, cool! I know what I want."
That would be my reaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sick.
So,
I can actually have friends now? Awesome.
yeah, so this toy shot the kid in the face, and he runs out and reports that, "Oh, this is what I want." And we learn that they cost a lot. Again, they haven't said how much they cost, but Christy says, "No, these cost a lot, and Mom and Dad won't buy you these." And then the little brother retorts. I never caught the little brother's name, by the way.
I don't remember. She said
Little
it,
brother,
though,
too.
Yeah, little brother. He says,
It's like Timmy or something like that.
Dante.
I think everybody.
Okay.
Joe and Dante.
Crandall.
I think every little brother's just named Timmy, right?
Come on, Timmy.
Yeah. So she says, "Mom and Dad won't buy you these," and he says, "Yes, they will."
You want me to fuck?
He says, "Yes, they will. They bought you those Gwendy dolls."
Oh.
I'm sure that won't come up later, guys. What do you think?
She's so embarrassed. She has Gwendy dolls?
What is she, a little baby?
Gwendy dolls.
Trying to impress the badass that got kicked out of 10 schools. Come on, man.
I
Don't
know,
play with
right?
dolls.
But then Alan finds his dad's ticket in the store, which he needs if he's going to go fly to this seminar to be a better small business. So he closes up shop. He heads home. And now's where we meet Christy's boyfriend on a bike. He pulls up on his motor. What was it? Like a
Little crotch
What a
rocket.
piece of shit. This guy's obviously a piece of shit, right?
He rides a
motorcycle?
motorized bicycle.
Fuck this guy.
You know what's funny?
Wears a helmet to be safe.
You know what's funny? Is that I like, you know, I want to not like this guy because he's obviously in the way of the main character getting,
Yeah, we're Team Alan here,
you
so.
know, the girl. But even the guy did try to like save her later on.
He
and,
literally did nothing wrong in
like
this
he
movie.
was a decent dude.
He was.
Besides, like, him trying later to, like, get inside.
But I mean, that's what teenage boys do. Alan would want to do the same thing.
He was trying to do the same thing at that exact moment, calling her.
That's,
That's an interesting point. I never thought about how he committed no crimes, just that I didn't like him because I wasn't supposed to.
He was even nice to Alan, too. He's like, hey,
Hey, I've
You're
heard,
that kid,
I've heard
right?
about you.
all right, cool.
Didn't you burn down your school or something? Yeah, I did, just to watch it burn.
Yeah, that line, by
You
the
play
way.
sports and
mic
ride a
drop.
bike?
Holy
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I burned down a school.
Yeah.
nah, that guy's evil. We can't trust him.
Right. So now it cuts to Alan's parents back at home, and we can only assume Alan will be there shortly to bring his dad the ticket. But first, it also cuts to Christy's dad, and he's real hyped about his brand new satellite dish that he
As
just
he
got.
should be.
Oh, yeah.
That's dope.
1998. What's he gonna get? Like 40 channels? Insane.
And it's going to be crystal clear.
Crisp. 480p.
Crisp.
Still a little fuzzy.
But something's up with this satellite dish. It doesn't work properly because of the placement of the moon. Long story short, there's a tree in the way, and it happens to belong to Alan's family. So what does Phil, Christy's dad, do?
The right thing. He cuts it off
Cuts
of his yard.
down
Yeah.
the limb that is on his side of the property.
Was it just the limb though? Because he goes and he starts with the limb, but then Alan's dad, Stuart, comes out, and he's rightfully pissed that this neighbor's just taking it upon himself.
I don't
to come
think
out.
so.
I disagree. That was in his property.
If it hangs over his side,
But it does come back later.
oh, does it?
When Alan falls off of the transformer, he hits branches on the way down, which are the only reason he survives the fall at the end.
But what I'm talking about is Phil says this tree has got to go. So he fully intended to cut down the whole tree.
I don't think he was going to cut down the whole tree. I heard that too, and so that's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
But he does continue to cut it after
He like
Alan's dam-
changed the
or
placement
dad
though.
leaves.
Like you first see it, and he's like on the trunk, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just cut."
Oh,
the
was
branch,
he on the
actually."
trunk?
That's
Oh.
what I thought.
Okay. Well, then he is
That
in the wrong,
is-
but then
yes.
he goes back to the right.
If it's just on his
Because
side
he
of the
got
property,
challenged. Yeah. It's like,
that's fine.
I think
That's
they would side with me.
The zoning law.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you live in a place and you maybe have the right to cut off your neighbor's branches, and maybe I'm alone in this thought process, but even if I wanted that gone, I wouldn't do it just because that guy knows where I live, and I don't want to create any tension between me and the person.
Hey, property lines. It's on my side.
You're talking about, or you're talking to some property owners over
know,
here.
right?
We got to deal with
We're
that
sitting in
shit.
John's house right now.
I need my satellite to work.
Fair. All right. Ignore me then.
No,
I
I'm
don't know what
with
I'm
you,
talking about. Yeah.
There's better ways, everybody.
Yeah,
Please just don't cut down your
obviously,
neighbor's trees. We do
Talk
we do
to
not-
somebody
yeah.
first.
We do not approve of this.
That's my advice.
So then Alan gets home to give his dad the ticket. And at this point, I guess he just stays home. He's like, all right, I'm not going back to the store. Forget this. So he closes up shop, and now he's home, takes off his backpack, unzips it, and finds that he had a stowaway. Mr. Archer himself is there. And Archer, in his very advanced technology, asks Alan what his name is. What's his name, guys?
Alan.
All I can think
shut
of
up.
is shut
I gotta
up,
do
Alan.
Alan,
homework.
now shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I like that because later when it shows like the perspective from Archer looking in it, like looks at the target and it says subject, Alan, now shut up. Like that's his name. So Archer's pretty sick. I definitely wanted one when I was a kid. I don't know about anybody else listening to this, but if you wanted yourself a small soldier or a Gorgonite, let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Also, tell us if you think he was going to cut down the whole tree or just the branch.
Also,
I'm
let us
interested.
know, is it worth it to cut down your neighbor's
Yeah.
tree? Even if you may be in the right.
Yeah, but be nice to each other in the comments.
Because your neighbor's out there.
I do want to make sure we don't move too far forward because it then comes to him finding out that Archer is kind of sentient, but he doesn't freak out until he realizes Archer was on his computer. And he's just like, you were on my computer? Did you go in the folder titled Untitled? Please tell me you stayed out of that.
You know, all that capacity he has on his Windows 95 computer.
Don't go in my folder that says nice things, okay?
Well, it actually was 98. This movie came out in 98. Was Windows 98 a thing? Probably not, because I'm assuming this was.
No, I think it was, but I don't know if he would add it.
It's always
you know,
like a year.
before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so. He was straight up rocking a Windows 95 computer.
I'm sure somebody will be able to tell him, be like, that taskbar, that's 98.
Get in the
sir."
comments.
Yeah.
I'm assuming his family's not well off. I don't know what his mom does. Do they ever say what she does?
was dressed in what I thought was a flight
Flight
attendant.
attendant. That's what it
Yeah.
looked like. Yeah.
Or like a chicken place with a weird uniform. Something like that. That was all.
And his
she's a-
dad was a terrible businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we only saw one customer this whole movie.
Christy.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, and Timmy or whatever his
Yeah,
name
yeah,
was.
And they never even bought anything
Yeah.
once.
Those bastards.
Yeah, well, and there was a line too. When Alan got home, his mom's like, "Did you close up the store? Did you turn off the lights?" He's like, "Yes." What about the cash register? He's like, "Yes, I emptied both quarters and all 4 pennies
Yeah.
or whatever he said."
That was a savage comment to his mom, by the way.
But also, what at the toy store cost like 54 cents?
He was just saying, we didn't
Everything?
sell shit, Mom. That's what he was saying to her.
Yeah. But anyway, it advances a little bit now, and it's now nighttime at the store with all of the toys that are still there. Alan has set up a display for all of them.
Beautiful display, too. Like,
A display that has one of each toy. That's it.
Took the time.
Can you imagine if like someone goes in there and they just buy one of those toys and be like, no, buy the whole set?
That wouldn't happen anymore. one person would go in and buy out the entire stock and then mark
It
it
would
up.
be a 35-year-old man or something
Right,
like that.
and they'd be
yeah.
waiting. They'd be waiting outside for like 2 hours before the store opened to buy it. Yeah.
And then poor little Timmy gets.
But here is where I have a question, because it's nighttime at the store and the toys are literally punching out of their boxes like they did in Larry's promotional video.
Shout out to multimedia.
Yeah, which is what Mr. Mars wanted. Can they actually do that?
I don't think that'd be possible. With the material that they're made out of, I don't think they could have enough strength.
This
to
is your
knock out
soapbox?
that plastic.
This is your soapbox box for the movie?
Yes.
And you have to realize, too, this movie was before when they got really intense, where you're like, oh, I have a box cutter, and I still can't get in this toy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things, obviously. There's a lot of things in this movie that I don't think is possible.
That's the one thing, though, huh?
But that bugged me.
Well, this is where my question comes in, right? Because we've seen in the previous scene that Larry ordered 500,000 chips, right? We are now looking at one set of these toys breaking out of their boxes.
12.
Can you assume that this is happening everywhere else where these toys are?
No.
Why?
The only reason is because they opened it and they activated the two of them.
Because after the
The
commander.
others, the others wouldn't activate unless Chip Hazard activated them in the store at night.
Because he even said, like, soldiers, mount up, or something like that. Like,
Rough Riders.
yeah, exactly.
So it's
Whoa, yeah.
Come on, we need like 5 movies. Yeah.
So wait, you guys are saying because they were activated in the store, that was the downfall.
Yes.
If Alan had never done that, just taken the toys, put them on the shelf, none of this would have happened.
He saved
Yet.
this city.
None of this
Or
would have happened.
He
yet.
saved whatever locations he was
Probably
sent
the
to
world.
Yeah.
Actually, probably the world.
That's like Skynet about to happen. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, they make a
I was
flamethrower.
going to say, eventually it's going to happen anyways. Dennis Leary made it pretty clear.
On small scale, it happened. Oh, well, you're saying.
Well, no,
okay,
I'm saying
it's
going to
happen somewhere. Yeah.
The world's going to end because Dennis Leary is like, we're going to make this in the military weapons.
Globo.
This worked too well.
Globo is just a Skynet branch.
Maybe
Skynet.
Skynet owns them, yeah.
The Skynet Gym, Globo Gym.
GloboNet.
Now we have to look all through Gremlins to see if we see
Right.
Globo somewhere.
So the toys bust out of their box and they have one mission: destroy the Gorgonite scum, with Major Chip Hazard leading the operation. But yeah, now it cuts back to Alan with Archer. Archer's searching the web. Alan learns that Archer is, hey, this guy's actually like sentient. He doesn't just have pre-programmed lines. But
Can we just say the one thing that's not realistic about Archer surfing the web is he didn't stumble across porn. I can guarantee you, just any keyword, it's going to take you to porn.
what's funny? What's funny is Alan was like, "Hey, if my computer has any viruses, I'm gonna kill you," or whatever he says. I'm like, dude, you already have them.
Yeah.
The other thing that's unrealistic about that is that he was right-clicking the whole time. That drove me crazy, too. I was like,
Do you think they did that on
popping up
purpose
that
or they
pop-up
caught it
button.
after and they're like,
We-
damn,
we don't
messed
care.
up.
Nobody's going to see that.
only nerds will realize that.
What, is some nerd group gonna have a podcast and talk about this sometime 20-something years in the future? Probably not. So now we learn from Archer and Alan's conversation. Sums up the toys want to get the Gorgonites, but it appears the Gorgonites have been destroyed. The next morning, when Alan goes back to the shop, and everything is a mess. All the toy boxes are strewn about, broken open, punched through. The rest of the store is in shambles. It straight up looks like it was vandalized, right? So then Christy comes back to the store to buy those toys, but she sees the store has been destroyed, and she sticks around to help Alan. And here is where we learn Christy, she's not like other girls.
I laughed so hard during this part.
I definitely wrote that down as a note. I was like, what?
You listen to music? You're not like other girls.
Christy like Alien and Led Zeppelin, not dumb girl stuff.
She owned it too. She was just like, I know.
You're not like other girls, are you?
Is that what this is from? Like that meme?
what?
What?
The you're not like other girls? Is this Is this where it started?
I don't know. I've
not sure,
heard people
honestly.
say that
Yeah.
forever. And when that line was dropped, I'm like, oh my God. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, memes come from anywhere, you know?
Random thing in that scene, I did appreciate that he had to make a close sign, and apparently they don't have a sign that says closed.
Yeah,
for
he just
for
wrote
the
closed.
toy store. Yeah, just
I mean, people would probably just assume they're closed.
like, what does he
always
do when
empty.
he's not there? He threw that away. He had to move.
So Christy and Alan, they spend some time cleaning up the store. Everything looks better in tip-top shape. And then there's a surprise visit from Alan's dad, who's returned from wherever seminar he was. He never talks about it again. We don't know how that went. But his dad comes back, and he walks in, and right away he sees a problem with the store. There's a problem with, checks notes, the boat mast. Something is off with it. They never said what he said. He's like, what's this? And he goes and touches the boat mast, and then it snaps in half.
Pretty
So-
cool boat, by the way, but nobody's ever going to buy that thing. It has to be like $1,000.
Yeah, I was
or
gonna
something
say,
like
they're not.
that.
With how much they're probably charging because of like they are selling nothing else in that store.
Wait till this store learns about Amazon.
I was also interested because you look at the mast, you're like, that's obviously, it looks like, I can't tell if it's designed that way and that's like rope at the bottom of it. But I was like, if that's like tape, he's obviously going to see that. Like, she lied to you, Alan. He will see this. And then
Yeah.
right away just touches it, snaps.
Yeah, and so then his dad comes, and he sees that. He touches the mast. It snaps in half, and he basically berates Alan. Obviously,
What'd you do, Dad?
Oh my God.
Obviously, Alan, you can't handle watching the store my 14 or 15-year-old child.
In front of a pretty girl, too.
Right.
Such a dick.
I felt so bad for Alan. This whole
yeah.
movie, he suffers from major self-esteem issues.
His dad doesn't help.
No, it's all because of his shitty dad.
Like, and we learned that Alan was like a troubled kid, right? Like later he, did some graffiti, whatever he did, but the whole movie he was like nothing but like a nice kid. He's like, oh, I'm not that person anymore. That was someone else. I'm like, dude, you're 15.
I know. They really tried to push that, too. Like, he had a troubled past. He's like, but I'm not that way.
Nah, man, that ain't
Yeah.
me.
That ain't me anymore, girl.
But that's kind of funny too, because like what we were talking about with hating the the boyfriend who's done nothing wrong. Meanwhile, we're rooting for Alan, who is like a literal arsonist.
Kicked out of 2 schools.
Yeah, and it was during that cleanup scene that they had that conversation. Christy learns that. And then when Alan's dad gets here, Christy's like, all right, I'm going to go. And then that's when Chrissy's boyfriend's like, hey, I know you're that kid that lit his school on fire, right? And then again, he drops the line, yeah, just to watch it burn. I'm like, metal as fuck,
Yeah,
Alan.
it's one of the best lines in the movie.
Come on, yeah!
Exactly.
And she stole Archer for him. Like, that was badass how she did that, too.
Yeah.
I thought she was actually stealing it for herself. I didn't remember
too,
the movie.
like,
I was just like,
for
does she steal
Timmy.
it? And then she's just like, oh, I don't know what happened to it.
Right. But she gives it back to him. But then we find out, as the camera pans back, that one of the Commando Elite was spying on this interaction. And he knows that Alan is harboring Archer. And so Alan rides his bike home, and the Commando Elite set up a little ambush to try to, I guess, get on the bike. I don't really know what the mission was there, just to get Archer and get off the bike,
Just
to kill Alan.
Probably just to kill Archer.
Yeah, kill Archer.
No, they probably wanted to capture him because at that point they still
still
didn't know
wanted-
the Gorgonites were
yeah.
dead.
Right,
Or they were
right.
hiding.
That's fair. So the mission goes horribly, and Nick Nitro, was it Nick Nitro?
No,
No,
it was, it was,
no,
it was,
no.
the, it was the buff guy. With
I don't remember.
the blonde guy.
Chad Musselton.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter his name. Nick Nitro comes out later. I forgot.
I think his name was like Marcus. He was so buff.
Some tool.
No. He was cool and buff.
You look pretty.
It was pretty.
I said you look pretty.
So then, after the botched Commando Elite infiltration of Alan's backpack, whatever, it cuts back to Alan at home, and Alan is not happy. He's on the phone with Globotech customer service, and he gets. Was that the simmer down lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simmer down now.
Yeah.
Simmer down now, son.
Like literally, like as soon as I saw her, I was like, "Oh, simmer down, okay."
Sherry O'Terry
Yeah, I don't know her. Is
from
that
SNL.
right?
Spartan.
So she, yeah. So she is the customer service rep that answers the call. And what I really liked about this scene is, Alan's getting nowhere. He's trying to explain what's happening. The Commando Elite just trashed my dad's store, and she's just not being receptive to it. And he says, "Is there a machine I can talk to?" Which is the complete opposite of what you hear every day.
She was being a great machine too, by the way. She sounded just like
right.
an IVR.
And then the machine asked the exact same question.
Yeah.
It was funny.
So now the Gorgonites are,
Gorgonites.
So now,
Man, the Gorgonites were such little wussies.
That's all I can hear, but just the Gorgonites.
Gorgonites.
Save
We're just gonna hide and lose.
One of them's only a freaking eyeball. Like, what is he supposed to do?
Ocula.
Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead because we're talking about it. The Gorgonites could have smashed the Commando Elites. They do at the end.
All
if they
of them
would have
except for the
fought,
eyeball guy.
Yeah, if they would have fought, they would have won.
What you're describing, Keenan, is workers seizing the means of production.
No,
No, we're not talking about that.
We're talking about abilities and characteristics.
You are describing what the workforce needs to do. No, I'm just kidding. Take control. So even though the Commando Elite failed their attempt to infiltrate Alan's backpack and kill Archer, they did find out where he lived.
Shout out to Brett for controlling us, by the way. Good job.
I'm an older brother. It comes with the territory. But anyway, so...
What you want me to fuck?
That was perfect.
Don't play that after I say I'm an older brother.
Oh, no.
Get out of here. Anyway, Marcus is done. He's gone. Marcus
Can't wait for that to make Final Cut.
Marcus almost just spit his drink everywhere.
Ooh, play. He's coming back to his seat. Oh. That, ladies
You
and
killed
gentlemen,
Marcus, Keenan.
that's comedy for you. Please like and subscribe.
Follow us.
We're just four dudes here.
I have the power of the soundboard.
All right, no more drinks for the rest of the podcast.
I know, right? So the Commando Elite have broken in now, and they have taken Archer hostage. And Alan wakes up because he hears some commotion downstairs, goes down there and finds Archer dangling upside down over the garbage disposal. And Alan saves him and places now Nick Nitro in the garbage disposal, who loses his legs. And he's making quite a ruckus down there. And now is where his parents come down and find him there in the kitchen. And this trope, I guess, in movies always has pissed me off ever since I was a kid. And it's like the parents or the responsible parties of the movie don't believe the main character in what is happening. Like so many times, like here, like in freaking Chucky movies, when he's like, "Oh, he's alive."
Well, and then on top of that trope, it's the trope of the thing that could easily be proven, just decided not to say anything.
So I get Archer. Archer was, he holds up Archer and he's like, "Yeah, say something. Go ahead." And Archer didn't say a single thing. I get it. I side with Archer here because Alan in the previous scene was being a little bitch to him.
Archer
That's
had
a
the
little
receipts.
passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I know.
He had the receipts, though. He was like,
Yeah.
shut up, don't talk to me.
We're just in a war.
Yeah, he's like, "Shut up, don't say a word." And then the next scene, he goes to Archer. "Why didn't you say anything?" Literally plays his voice back. "Shut up, not a word." So, been there,
Then he
done
said
that.
something.
Right.
So it's like you're listening to me now, but you weren't listening to me then.
Trying to learn. Remember,
Yeah.
his name is Shut Up, Alan. Like that's what he thought
Yeah.
his name was first.
This happens a lot through the movie, though, because like, even towards the end, it has multiple scenes of neighbors just going like, "Up, Finkel."
Simple.
No, call the fucking cops.
That's just him.
I know. I loved how they pointed that out for multiple people. Like, there's this huge like explosions. All this stuff is happening, and all these people are just like,
Phil.
Why do I live in this
again?
fucking neighborhood?
Let me turn up my TV. It was just
Yeah. So Alan tries to explain everything that's going on to his parents. The Commando Elite, they're alive. They trashed your store. I took these from Joe. Blah blah. The dad doesn't believe him. Mom doesn't believe him. In fact, his mom asks, "Alan, Are you on Crank?
Meth.
Are you on that Jason Statham movie?
It doesn't do that. I hear
I hear.
it
This
does not do that.
Brett, this was right after the garbage disposal scene, right?
Immediately after.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, all I care about, how did you cut yourself? And
Right.
it's like, well, all these major things are happening, Mom and Dad. This. And then it's like, boys on Crank.
And the dad says, "Oh, so you pawned my tools to pay back Joe." A little nod of what's to come, just so you know. But now is when Alan confronts Archer, and he's like, "Listen, now if you would have talked, then we could have cleared some of this up. But instead, nobody believes me. When Joe finds out the toys are destroyed, and I can't pay him back, he's gonna have my legs broken." Now hold the phone. Is
Sopranos.
Joe like some mobster or
I'm telling
something?
you, like,
I mean, he's had things fall off his
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
remember, I don't like your tone. It's too loud.
But and here's the thing: if Joe's shady, all the power to him, right? But Alan has to know what kind of person he is if he is afraid that Joe is going to break a child's legs.
Well, he also insinuated that Joe would just let him keep these toys for nothing. He's like, come on, Joe. I know you stole some shit, man.
yeah,
He's like,
I know you, bud. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think Joe's stolen?
Hearts.
yeah.
Hearts? Bras straps?
4 of them.
Yeah. Stolen a lot of things just with those 2 fingers.
I honestly don't know if you said hearts or parts.
Hearts.
Parts. No.
And
I feel-
parts.
He's, I mean,
The toys.
Yeah.
once we find out,
Clearly.
I mean, if somebody
We saw
knows
it.
too in the comments, what his job was in Gremlins 2, please, Gremlins 1, sorry, not.
I'm sure we can also look at him
Yeah, but-
very simply. That's fair. So now the Commando Elite are gearing up in the garage, and we see they've got all sorts of access to Alan's dad's tools. They had some at the shop. They've got even more. They've got power tools now. So something is about to happen. Alan, after his conversation with Archer, though, learns that the Gorgonites are in fact not destroyed because the Commando Elite are looking for them. Why would they look for them if they killed them? So Alan goes to find the Gorgonites because if they do what they did best, and that's hide, where would they hide?
In the dumpster.
Gross.
Dumpster.
Which the aha moment was he threw something away. It's like, oh,
Oh yeah,
that's where they're at.
they're trash.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Oh yeah, these. It only makes sense that they're in the garbage.
So Alan finds all the Gorgonites in the dumpster. They were hiding. It's what they do best. Meanwhile, though, Larry and Irwin, our Globotech people, are heading to the lab where the X-1000 chip was made. We learned, though, of one flaw with this chip. And it's the major reason that the military has not adapted this chip worldwide.
Those dummies at the Pentagon or whatever he said.
Those dummies didn't account for the EMP flaw. A simple EMP is all it takes to fry.
Only
This chip.
every electronic basically made has the same flaw.
I was
but
gonna say, I'm
your
pretty
chip
sure
didn't
that's a
have
common
that.
thing.
Yeah. We need our military chips to withstand everything.
Right. So now the Gorgonites, they're all back safe to Alan's room. They're hanging out. Alan's on the phone with Christy, doing a little flirty flirt. You know, he's,
I had a problem with that.
Yeah?
Yes, because he clearly knows that she's in a relationship. There's been no sign that this guy's a bad guy at all, and he's straight up asks her out.
What do you mean? The
but she-
guy was.
she only
he
goes
rides a
after
bike.
older guys. Yeah, she only goes after older guys.
He rides a bike, plays sports.
Which
He's a jerk.
his confidence, by the way, to do that on that phone call, just be like, hey, it doesn't matter. It's just like, I'm sorry, I only dated other guys. And for him to continue, like,
Hey, why don't you try
Damn.
saving my life first,
Yeah.
and then we'll see.
And then we'll kiss. All right?
It's got to be
freaking
successful
multiple
though,
times,
because the boyfriend attempted.
if your pants get lit on
It was
fire and you
not
run
a
away, no kisses for
successful.
you.
Yeah. But the Commando Elite are listening in on this phone call, and they found Alan's weakness. He says he'd basically do anything for her.
He has a penis.
So the Commando Elite
That
listening.
kind of worked out because Kirsten Dunst is Mary Jane. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
So the Commando Elite guy listening.
That's a good Green Goblin, though.
I don't know all their names aside from Chip Hazard and Nick Nitro, but he's listening in. He goes up to Chip Hazard. He's like, yo, we got a simp alert, and plays back the fact that Alan's like, oh, I'd be willing to risk it all for you, or whatever he said. Some stupid thing. And so Chip Hazard says, put in a combination for yourself. Good job. Basically, at this point, things are about to go down. We got the Commando Elite, MacGyvering it up in the garage. All the Gorgonites are there. Shit's about to go down, guys. So Christy's parents are sitting there watching their brand new setup and their giant 40-inch DLP TV.
Hell yeah.
Remember those like TVs is like the bulb goes out and your entire
Oh my
1,000-pound TV is obsolete.
Just gotta wait for next bulk trash pickup.
That you need like 10 feet of room for your TV sideways and front and back.
He had a classy setup though. That's pretty sick. The sliding doors, just
It's so funny you said that, though, Keenan, because I have literally seen at least 10 of those in bulk trash just sitting on the side of the curb waiting to be picked up.
I've been that person. I put one in bulk trash.
yeah. There's nothing you can
The
do.
bulb
went out.
Yeah, and like, what do you do? Like, I don't think it's a very easy thing to replace.
And it's almost the same price as the TV.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Phil would lose his mind if he lived long enough to see. Shit. That
Too
was
soon,
Yeah,
man.
I know why I did that.
Wow.
That was me.
Boo this man.
Yeah, too many. So Christy's parents there are sitting there talking. They're watching, their new setup. The Commando Elite are trebucheting drugs into their
They
drains.
roofied her.
How many did they throw in her glass? Like I saw at
3,
least
right?
3 shots.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
based
you don't
off
need
of
that many.
her character, she can handle it.
But the dad also
She's got it.
I don't know if it was just her drink because he also passed out. So I don't know if that was one drink or if that was both drinks or they drank from the same glass or what.
I remember this scene when I first watched it as a kid as like the coolest thing ever.
I don't remember that scene
Oh
at
my!
all as a kid.
The soldiers are perfectly into the glasses to get those parents drugged.
Well, it's funny. Like I literally laughed out loud right before this happened. So they're watching the TV, right? And his wife is just already kind of feeling it because she's obviously drinking. And then Phil, out of nowhere, just goes, "I think World War II is my favorite."
I laughed at that too.
That had to be an improv. Like he probably just did that on the day. That was hilarious.
I don't know that I have a favorite war, but anyway. So the
Star Wars.
yeah, okay, I take that back.
Clone Wars.
Storage.
I hear it's fake. Hot take.
Well, no, it absolutely is. Listeners, what's your favorite war?
As you can tell, we're very manly men here with all of our.
The movie War with Nicolas Cage. Pretty sure that's a movie.
Or the movie War with Jet Li
and Jason Statham.
Yeah. That was a good movie. Is that bad? Can we do that movie? But so continuing on the toys, they tie up Christy's little brother. And now we see these horny little toys thirsting all over the Gwendy dolls that were aforementioned.
I got to see a doll fucking scene.
Good thing his 3-day pass was denied.
They take Nick Nitro, who died after the garbage disposal incident, and they remove the chip from his head.
Where did that body bag come from? Why was it perfect? It was
Right. And why are they bringing it everywhere with them?
I was like, what? I specifically in that scene, I was like looking at it, be like, is it a jewelry bag? Is it something? It is literally a perfectly sized body bag, just like the military uses, but this is just sized for an action figure, whatever.
That's funny. I didn't even think.
Yeah,
about that,
it was just
but
like
you're right.
perfect.
I mean,
It wasn't anything where you could tell it was something else. It was like perfectly sized body bag.
It's sold separately.
And
it's dark.
And so they take these Gwendy dolls and they use Nick Nitro's chip. And I actually, like, as an adult, I really appreciated this scene when, like, they Frankenstein they basically took the chip, used some sort of electromagnetic science or whatever to take the processing power of that chip and put it into simultaneously all the Gwendy dolls, or 6 at a time, because they used a muffin tin.
Yeah.
As the part that goes over their heads. And I just love the innovation of that. Like, They use, what are those things called? Like not the globe that you touch.
like
Oh,
where
I
you
know
would-
where you're talking
yeah.
about. Where you touch and then like
It makes the lightning touch your fingers. It doesn't hurt at all. It's cool. It was very popular in the 90s.
But what did they? Because I was watching this, I do appreciate how in depth they went with this scene.
Yeah.
Like they didn't just say like, "Oh, we made these." They had like 5 different steps in their Frankensteining of these dolls, but they put like a little. It looked like a chip on them, and that was the part where I was like,
Oh
"What
yeah,
are they putting on them?" Like,
none of this stuff makes any sense.
Yeah. So it's one
But
chip.
I did appreciate it.
Yeah,
it was cool.
it's one chip powering all the dolls, which
So that was that one that they show on that first doll.
Yeah, the one chip.
But I thought the chip was on the little lightning thing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But anyways, yeah, it doesn't.
But as a result, each of the dolls are a little more fragile than the rest because really all it takes is one good hit, and they're
What's really far fetched is how those dolls move. There's nothing inside them that makes them move on their own.
The chip, though.
No, there's nothing controlling the limbs.
it's called intuition, Marcus.
yeah.
Marcus has a vast collection of Barbies. He knows the inner working.
Well,
What were they called? Stacy
Or
dolls or
whatever.
something?
Gwendy.
Yeah,
Wendy's.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Wendy.
recognize the voice?
No, who was it? Was it somebody that we?
I recognized Sarah Michelle Gellar.
She was all of
What? Really?
She was one of them, and
them.
then
She was all of the Gwendies.
no, there was another one. There was another
Wow.
voice that I didn't recognize at first. I mean, it rang familiar, but
Ooh,
I looked
you're
it up.
beefy.
It was Christina Ricci.
Really?
Wow.
Dang.
It's funny because I didn't look it up, but I could absolutely hear Sarah Michelle Gellar now.
Yeah, that was the voice that I
Why
recognized
don't
right
you
away.
love me?
Christy gets home now, and then the Gwendy dolls. She opens the closet, finds her brother all tied up, just throws her coat.
Well, she didn't even see him.
She didn't find him. Yeah, she just throws the coat on his head.
She saw him.
He's a little brother.
I really wanted to just look at him and be like, "Yeah, you fucking deserve it." Just close the door.
Classic mom and dad.
But she doesn't. So she throws the jacket, doesn't see him, goes up to her room, sees this Frankenstein lab going on here, and rightfully gets scared out of her mind. So a lot of shit happens in the next 2 minutes. So she finds the Gwendy dolls. They climb up her. They tie her up. When she gets home, though, her boyfriend's trying to weasel his way in there, and he's like, my bake won't start. He's like practicing what he's going to say outside. I need to come in and like hang out with you.
Damn, Brett.
Wow.
We need a timeout.
And so it doesn't really pan out because he hears her scream.
I was
And-
waiting for just tell me what you want me to fuck. That's all I was waiting for.
Do it.
Tell me what you want me to fuck.
So he runs up when he hears Christy scream after she's getting attacked by the dolls. He himself gets attacked by the dolls. And then he's just done. That's it. That's the last we ever see of that guy in the whole movie.
To be fair, he got lit on fire.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that would be my only thing that I would count against him is that you don't see him again. So obviously he didn't try to come back when he,
Or call the cops.
or call the cops for help and be like, hey, something's going on in that house.
Totally. Now, Christy gets tied up again by the Gwendy dolls, and then Major Chip Hazard steps on her torso, goes up to her face, and he looks her in the face, and he says, "Are you scared? We're all scared.
I love this line.
You'd have to be crazy not to be scared." And I have to admit, as a child, the fact from the point when Christy got home to that scared the shit out of me. I only watched this movie a
This
handful of
point
times.
on,
Not all the toys, just
when he gets
Doing
cut the
everything,
first time, at that point,
the
I'm just like,
garbage
this is a
disposal?
fucking
with the
horror movie.
Dremel.
Yeah.
And that's a good point because this movie is basically like Gremlins meets Toy Story meets Chucky all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With some Home Alone
but
aspects
for
in there.
kids,
But for kids, apparently, maybe.
Well,
13 and older.
Gremlins was kind of the same way.
Was Gremlins PG-13?
Yeah.
But think
At least the second one was. The first one, I think, leaned more into the
Because it was like a horror genre.
I think the first one leaned more into horror, but the second one was more goofy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The second one's great, though.
This one was literally small soldiers, not toy soldiers. Was literally directed at kids. Like it's like this is about your toys.
Apparently, they were originally going to make like hard PG-13 movie.
Damn.
So
Hard.
on making
So hard.
That PG-13 was going to be
on making the
hardest.
movie though. On making the movie, Joe Dante recalled, he said, originally I was told to make an edgy picture for teenagers, but when the sponsor tie-ins came in and the new mandate was to soften it up for a kiddie movie, too late, as it turned out, there are elements of both approaches in there. So just before the release, it was purged of a lot of its action explosions.
Huh.
So he fully intended to make this a movie for teens, and then later was told, like, pump the brakes a bit. So,
But none of the like PTSD, like Vietnam soldier
yeah.
war is war.
So then the Commando Elite, having Christie in their possession, send a ransom video over to Alan and the Gorgonites straight through a harpooned VHS tape into the wall. Basically, Christie's tied up in the video, and the gist is that basically surrender the Gorgonites. That's their one demand. And if they do that, then this will end harmlessly. But Alan has some other ideas, and he says, if Major Chip Hazard wants a war, we'll give him a war.
Is this after Alan and Archer have the conversation about the wind? Because that really bugged me too.
The window conversation.
Not the window. He's standing in the window, and he's
he's
like,
like-
he sees the trees rustle, and he's like, the commandos are in the trees, and he's just like, no, that's just the wind. You just feel it. He's just like, feel? But I feel like
Yeah.
multiple times in the movie, the toys seem to feel pain. They're also impacted by the light when Chip Hazard like corners Archer and flashes the light in his eye. It just seems inconsistent.
We also know that the commandos too, when they're putting together whatever the guy's name was that was on the bike, which that scene is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
When-
Because
and-
he's like, let it out or something.
Yeah,
when he's like,
just let it
screaming.
out, soldier. You're fine. He's like, oh, they're like, all right, A to B, like, and then they have the med kit, and it's eventually tape. But they're supposedly like, I think it's just they're exposed. They know what they're supposed to experience. I don't think it's actual pain, but I think the win conversation again could have been like right
Well,
with that other conference.
Chop.
The win conversation happened just for the one line. Just because you don't see something doesn't mean it isn't there.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, the plan is underway, and Alan drops a Gorgonite's box right on the lawn where the Commando Elite can go to open it, but it's a decoy. And he sends Archer up through the chimney of Christie's house on a rocket. Archer lands, goes to the chimney, lets him inside, and he's in. Meanwhile, the Commando Elite are dealing with this decoy box here. Let's see.
Archer conveniently opens like a lock that's right at the bottom
Like a
of the
deadbolt, yeah.
floor. I'm like, those don't exist.
So Alan goes up and he lets Christy go, and him and Christy just proceed to fuck up the Gwendy doll.
I thought you were going to say fuck.
You were trying to censor me before, and now you're going to say that?
And then they just start mouth fucking.
They take all sorts of blunt objects to the Gwendy dolls.
He
And
punched the highlights out of her hair.
that's basically what they do. Yeah. And Christy says, "You rescued me," and gives Alan a big old kiss. So at this point, is she still dating the guy? Who knows?
Hey,
He
that
ran away.
guy ran out. And by the way, one tiny little part of his pants were on fire, and he took the whole things off. Like, just
To be fair,
He was looking for an excuse to
gonna
take
say, yeah,
his
just to be
pants
fair.
off.
dry. Like, or pat him. Like, if you look at it, it's like the tiny little bit on the bottom next to his shoe.
he entered that house with the intent to take his pants off.
That's true.
Well, my
Yeah.
leg's on fire.
Yeah.
He's got to come off.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. Maybe he wasn't a good guy. Maybe that's some symbolism layered in there.
Rides a bike.
Yeah.
Play sports.
So it's around this time that the Commando Elite realize, though, that they've been duped, and it's at the same time that Christy and Alan have made it out of the house, and just when they think they're safe, something's happening in the garage. And then we're met with the great Rush Hour song.
Wow.
What is it good for? And then the Commando Elite bust through the garage door with all their improvised RC
amazing.
cars.
This was
Yeah.
badass.
This scene, amazing.
I love how they start putting in music in this part from the movie. Like it hasn't been in there before, and then there you go.
So just a quick recap of every sort of vehicle that the Commando Elite have. They have all sorts of weapons on their cars. They have everything from flamethrowers to chainsaws on their cars to rockets to nail guns to corn cob holder launchers.
That was cool.
Yeah,
That was sick. Yeah.
That would fucking hurt.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, man, those went in deep on his leg.
So Alan gets shot and some corn cob holders get stuck in his leg.
Three
and
of them.
He takes it like a champ.
Yeah,
This
he does.
15-year-old
He just
kid.
pulls them out.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, whatever. We're in a war right now.
And his dad was being a little bitch about it too when he got shot.
His
but
dad
whatever.
gets hit with a net and then like falls over and so it's a high-speed chase. Christy and Alan on a little moped or something, and all the Commando Elite chasing them. Christy and Alan make it over a jump. The Commando Elite don't, and there's a massive explosion, and all of them die. That's the end of the movie. Just kidding.
There you go.
All of them die except for one, Major Chip Hazard, who survives, and he floats down a river downstream. But he lands somewhere very precarious. Where does he land?
The dump. No. I stopped watching. I thought it was over.
He lands in front of a toy store with his own face at the top of it,
World.
promoting the Commando Elite toy set. And he's got his reinforcements here, and shit is about to go down. So it's only assumed, we don't see him walk in, but it's only assumed that Chip Hazard's going to walk in there and recruit a bunch of toys.
Somehow.
And probably kill whatever
Yeah.
Gorgonites are in there too. That's probably the first thing they
Exterminate
do.
the
Again, 500,000 of these chips have been made. So Chip Hazard finds this store, but right outside that store, we're met with a familiar character, Joe. He's sitting in his truck. Apparently, it took him all day, 2 days, to deliver the shipment of toys that are apparently not that far from Alan's house. Who knows how?
He wasn't shipping them. It was a recall. They were recalling them. He was taking them back.
Because of Alan's voicemail. That's right.
Or he was stealing them. One of the two.
Probably that. And selling it to the
Or maybe a little bit of both.
probably selling it to
You want some
foreigners and
Yeah.
enemies of the state.
They fell off the truck.
But then someone appears behind Mobster Joe, and it's a Major Chip Hazard, holds a knife up to his throat. Again, this is not a kid's movie.
Which I was very interested in. Multiple scenes, they have these knives, and I'm like, are they the ones that came with them? Because they're perfectly sized.
That's a good question. Because
This knife was like a little baby knife, but it was made out of metal.
But it's real. Just like any other. We'll get to it later on, but literally
get to
people
it now. Because I thought the same thing when he was up on the transformer.
Yeah, and he stabs Alan in the finger, and it's perfectly sized. And I'm like, if that came with you, there's no way that's real unless Larry really was a fucking idiot. He's just like, you know what, chips and real knives.
Speaking of Larry, though, it cuts back to Alan now, and Larry and Irwin have showed up to Alan's house. Shit's happening in this neighborhood. It's on fire. Christy's parents are awake now. They're at Alan's house. Like everything's going down. And they arrive, and Irwin says, "Hey, basically, we're here to talk about this complaint filed by Alan." And Alan says, "Yeah, something's wrong with the toys." And Larry goes, "What's wrong with the toys? Bear in mind that you will be called into court to substantiate your claim."
I loved him in these couple scenes. Like it was, they had to seal his character this way, and it was done perfect.
And then Stuart, Alan's dad, just goes and punches him in the face, finally coming to the defense of his son.
I know.
It only took an hour and 30 minutes to come to the defense of his son one time. But
Hang on. Are we all in agreement with Phil Hartman's character? Just give up the Gorgonites, right?
I mean, they're toys.
yeah,
They're not real things. They're
This would be over.
Yes.
You could have just handed them over
So
and then shut them down.
At least that's what we thought.
Yeah, obviously he
Well,
was wrong.
yeah. So
at this point,
Phil tries to go and surrender, but at this point, the commando elite, they're not having it. Instead, they engage in some psychological warfare and play the Spice Girls as loud as they can, disturbing
It's
every
the wife
neighborhood
that
block.
can handle her drugs.
she loves that song.
I'm-
You know,
I'm
the
with-
soundtrack for this movie was great.
They stepped it up.
They
with
really
that,
did.
yeah.
Like, they actually played Led Zeppelin. I got to imagine that is very expensive.
And Led Zeppelin themselves are very,
Yeah, I was gonna
very
say.
picky about what gets the okay to use their music.
And so I wonder if that's why they mentioned it in the beginning too. Like that was the band.
that's
I mean,
my
I guess
guess
they would have
too.
had to. Yeah.
This movie isn't like other movies.
We like Aliens and Led Zeppelin and Spice Girls.
Maybe
So-
they're a fan of Gremlins.
At, at this point, Chip Hazard. At this point, Chip Hazard and all of his reinforcement toys arrive, and he's got the full set back together. But this begs the question: he probably, definitely had to run into other major Chip Hazards there, right?
Weren't they there?
I don't recall
I
seeing
never saw
any
another
chip
Chip
hazards
Hazard.
except for the
The one.
The
So
main
that,
That means he cannibalized them. Like he killed all of them.
but also he is tasked with killing this one set of Gorgonites. When there were probably more Gorgonites than he has ever seen.
Well, that's
in
what I
his
was saying.
life.
I think that was probably the first thing he did was after he
Just like he did in the other toy store.
after he woke up his crew, probably just killed all those
order
Gorgonites.
order 66 in there. Yeah.
Do it.
Kill the Gorgonites. So the Heartland guys, they know like, okay, shit's going down now. War is ensuing. The toys they've made it back. They're shooting projectiles into the living room. Alan's mom, in true tennis champ fashion, is bashing them out of there with a tennis racket.
She legit was a badass under pressure.
Thank
She gets
you.
everybody. She's just like, all right, you get the barricade up.
Yeah.
You in the closet.
Yeah. I love that scene. After she was just beast moding with the tennis racket. And there's like, good forehand, honey. Nice backhand. Hitting these flaming tennis balls back at toys.
She was a flight attendant. She has to deal with a lot
Or
of
at
people.
a weird chicken place. if
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
She just calls this Wednesday.
Yeah.
But the Heartland guys mention that hey, they're very subjective to an EMP. So if we can create one of those, every electronic device can do that. We need a big one. And then Archer points out, oh, there's a transformer up there, pointing at the telephone pole.
And give Phil some credit. He was the one that was saying that any device can do it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So all of the 6 adults around agree that teenage Alan needs to climb up the telephone pole and stick a metal thing in between the 2 transformers to
The
activate.
dad didn't want him to go alone.
He didn't, but he reluctantly agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like that guy that's like, no, don't do it. But okay.
It's like,
Do you want to do it then? Oh no, you got this.
it's like when you go to brunch with your friend and you're like, like both feign reaching for the
Yeah,
check.
it's like,
Oh, you got it. Okay.
he literally was like, oh, I can't remember what he said, but it was some lady thing. And the dad was like, my son's resolve is there. He has to do it.
Alan's like,
I was just like, I don't know why.
Dad, I need to climb up there and do this. And he's like, no, you don't. You're a kid. He's like, there's no other way.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're
you're
right.
Yeah.
What am I going to do it? No.
I'm not dumb enough to do that. Go ahead, son. I was like,
So they let a teenager climb up this pole to do this EMP situation going on. And at this time, the Gorgonites, they say no more hiding. And they come out and they wreak havoc. And it's just a few scenes back to back. The
And they
Gorgonites
kick
destroy
ass.
They do. They kick their ass.
those Gorgonites get it.
So it cuts to Alan up at the top of this this pole here. Chip Hazard is flown, and his helicopter's crashed that he had for some reason. And he's up there. Archer's up there now. There's a fight happening. Archer gets knocked down with a satellite dish, and Chip Hazard, in Alan's true moment of heroism, picks him up and uses him to fry the Transformers.
After he gets stabbed by
In his
whatever
hand.
these knives
Yeah.
are.
He grabs them pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like he's a toy.
This scene was a good balance in this movie to how they did this, where it's like the toys did these crazy things, But when they didn't have those other things, they were like, "Oh, you're literally just a toy."
You're a handheld figurine.
So I appreciated that more on this one, where they didn't make them where it's like, "Oh, I can't grab him." Like he was just like, the kid was just like, "Oh, I got you."
Oh yeah, you're just a fucking toy.
You're just a toy. I did not like how the fight with Archer, they built it up so awesome, and then it was just like, it was just nothing.
Well, I didn't like that at first either, but Archer fell off along with the satellite dish. Yeah. And then immediately after that, beautiful EMP happened. And all of the Commando Elite are fried. And it's basically a sigh of relief because the battle is over. And it cuts to our very last scene of the movie, and that's Mr. Mars and Miss Kegel arriving on a tight helicopter, and just proceeds to start cutting checks to everybody.
thought this was great.
Amazing.
This was so funny. It was like, no, you can't. You don't have enough money to.
What about my house?
Yeah.
It's destroyed. Cuts him a check. Nope, that's it. We're good. We're good.
Probably, that'll do it.
But it's at this point that we finally learn. He's like, "What are we charging for these?" And we learn that each of the toys costs $79.95 each. Now, that was in 1998. That is still a lot for an action figure now that you would just get at your standard Walmart, Target, Toys R Us. $79.95. I don't know, like, if we were to pull up an inflation calculator or whatever, what that would translate to today. But it's a lot, especially if you wanted to buy a set, because there was 12 total figures. Cuts to our final scene in the movie, and that's Alan sending the Gorgonites downstream on what else but that very same ship that had the mast broken.
I hated this.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what?
The
I didn't even
giant boat
realize that was the boat from the
that
store.
could have paid for all the toys that nobody buys. They gave it to the Gorgonites.
I didn't hate that. I hate the fact that they just let military technology go down a river. Anybody can come across this, and we can have a small soldiers too.
But did you consider it was nice military technology?
Yeah, and they hide. They don't want to hurt people.
Yeah. It's in their program.
Nope.
Not yet.
You know what? I remember watching that, and I was thinking, oh, well, what happens if, like, you know, they run into more trouble, like animals or something? But I was like, oh, they'll take care of themselves. They're super strong for little plastic toys, apparently.
But that's a great point, because he just sends them downstream, and that's the end of the movie. We never know what happens to them. Like, I would like to see the next scene where, like, an eagle swoops down and, like, just takes one.
Takes the eye.
Ah, damn it!
Who knows? But with that rounds out our movie, Small Soldiers. We gotta say we gotta play some games.
Games.
Bed, wed, behead. All right. So we've got 3 of us here are gonna pick a person in the movie that we want to either bed, wed, behead.
This is gonna be tough.
Easy, boys.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, let's not do anybody who's a child. We're very
action
limited.
figures?
We're very limited here.
Can we do? Stick with me.
Yeah.
Can we pick toys? And if we do pick toys, can we clarify the rules of? Are we the size of the toy?
Oh, we have to decide that
I'm
first.
gonna say that it's your fantasy. You choose.
You bet it is.
All right, Keaton, you start then.
I'm gonna go with Archer.
Archer. Okay. John, what do you got?
Chip. Major Chip Hazard.
Marcus.
No, I gotta pick you know what? I'll go Joe.
Joe? Oh gosh.
Oh, Joe.
All right.
I wanted the tennis one.
All right. Since I didn't pick, I'll go first. I'm gonna say. So we got Chip Hazard, Archer, and Joe. Obviously, marrying Archer, right? Sentient. He's nice. He just wants to find a good home. I can give him a
made
good
of
home.
plastic. Like,
I can give him a good home, right? You know, Chip Hazard, kill that motherfucker, because, you know, if you don't, then you're gonna find an untimely doom. Which means I gotta bed Joe. The guy's resourceful.
Fingers.
Shady Fingers Joe over here. He can do some stuff.
you can break my legs.
That's what I'm saying. All 3 of them. But I'm sticking to it. What do you think, Kenan?
So mine's different. I went with bed Archer. And in this fantasy of mine, which I've had multiple times, I am the size of Archer.
Okay. All right.
I just think fun. Behead Chip Hazard. It's a hazard. It's in his fucking name.
Literally his fucking name. Yeah.
And Wed Joe. He's got a steady job.
For now.
Oh,
He
he's
stole.
he's resourceful. Like he'll support you.
And he's got those fingers.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go a little Anarchy 99 here.
Whoa.
I'm going to behead the good Sir Archer of the Gorgonites.
Damn.
Yeah, Archer. I'm sorry. I'm trying to live a little spicy in my life, and you're just gonna talk to me about wind all the time. I'm like, it's not there.
And he's programmed to lose.
Yeah,
That's a good
like I don't want somebody that's programmed to. Even though he kind of like broke that a little bit with like, if we hide, we lose too. But anyways, behead Archer. I'm gonna bed me some Chip. Like,
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying, I'm going to bed me.
yeah, yeah.
Fourth option.
It's gonna be a spicy.
Are you scared?
It's exactly, yeah. Like, talk dirty to me.
You.
Yeah. It's gonna be spicy, so I'll bed him, and then I'm gonna marry Joe because maybe I want a TV one day, and he's like, I know a guy.
I can make one fall
Yeah,
off the
I got
truck.
it. I got you. Yeah.
With the sharp costy and kneecaps.
Well, no, because he cares about me. Like
That's,
he's kneecapping
That's
other
his
people
side.
for me. Yeah.
that's code for his penis.
What do you got, Marcus?
I think I'm gonna agree with Keenan. Like, I feel like you have to kill Chip Hazard. I mean, you can't let that motherfucker
You
live.
just enjoy the ride. That's what I'm talking about.
And but John made a good point about Archer, and I think he's a little bit
So Manila, like
he's just white toast, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. But so you would marry Joe and then deal with Archer for one night. Get rid of him.
oh, you know he's gonna be around. Do you love me now? He's, just he's attached.
It was one night, dude. It was one night.
I
8
told
years
you.
ago.
But the wind, Marcus, the wind. We talked about it.
Tell me what you want to fuck.
All right, guys, and that is Bed, Wed, Behead. On to our next game here. A little game we like to call 7 Degrees of Who. Sometimes we can do this pretty quickly. Sometimes we fuck it up royally. But we're going to try to connect an actor from the movie to a random list celebrity here. I'm going to pick an actor from the movie since I didn't pick one of the three. And I'm going to go straight up just Tommy Lee Jones. But we're going to a random celebrity. We're going to try to get there in 7 steps or less. You got your notepad up there, Marcus. Keep our score.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, tally it away.
But we're going from a Tommy Lee Jones to a Mickey Rourke. We're going to go, I'm taking us out of here with Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
And we're going to go Tommy Lee Jones to Will Smith and Men in Black.
right.
Take it away, Keenan.
All right. Will Smith was in Independence Day with Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum was in Jurassic Park with Sam Neill.
Ooh.
Okay, Sam Neill. Sam Neill was in Bicentennial Man
Okay.
with Robin Williams.
Oh, we love Robin Williams on this
We
show.
do love Robin Williams.
Okay. I could take it back to Kristen Dunst. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that.
Wait, who are we trying to get
Please do
to
not.
I'm
again?
trying to get to Mickey Rourke.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go. Okay, let's see where I can take this. We'll go. Okay, here. We'll go Robin Williams to Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
I have 2 movies I'm trying to connect to. Matt Damon was in The Departed
There we go. That's one I was thinking
with
of.
Leo.
Leonardo DiCaprio was in Django with Samuel Jackson.
Did you say Django?
I did. Yeah. The D is silent.
Django.
Yeah.
D is silent.
Django. Yeah.
Such a good movie. I love that movie so much.
Well, Sam L. Jackson was in Iron Man Dos. with Mickey Rourke.
There we go. You did it.
There it is.
Julius
Yeah.
Stark.
How much was that? How many was that?
9.
9.
Nice.
9 degrees of who? So, not our best. Definitely not our worst. So, with that being said, I think it's time we revisit that review that we mentioned earlier. Again, Kevin Lally of Film Journal International said, a charmless and often mean-spirited kids movie that no kid under 8 should be taken to see. So I'm going to make a bold statement here, and I'm going to say this is not a kids movie. It wasn't a kids movie, and I feel like Joe Dante was given pressure to make it a kids movie so it could sell toys. And as a result, it kind of sat in this weird spot between a movie for teenagers and kids, and it didn't get quite the marketing that it deserved, which is maybe why it isn't as good as it deserves, because it seems like a lot of the reviews are about how this isn't for kids. So I'm going to have to agree that no kid under 8 should maybe see this, because I do remember as a kid who was probably under 8 when I saw it. Definitely scared me as a kid, but I don't know.
Disagree with the charmlessness.
Yeah, agreed. Totally.
You know, I agree with the first half of the review. Disagree with the second half of the review.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, it's
Pretty succinct, right? So that was Small Soldiers. Again, it scored a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, critics believe that Michael Bay's Transformers is somehow a better movie than this. And I have to say, what's wrong with him?
Matt Lauer can suck it!
As well as all critics. I do want to leave you guys with some words here from Mr. Archer himself. First from Alan, several times quoted ourselves tonight, and that is, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. Which, as a line for the movie, what was the point of that? Like, what is it? Is this a line about like religion, or what is this about? What is the grand scheme of this line supposed to be about?
Yeah, that's confusing.
just trying to add depth. That's all they were doing.
They're like, let's
Just
put
trying to add
this
depth.
line in here that could be construed as something really deep, although we're going to give no context behind it. So join us next time when we talk about the hit movie Taken, starring Liam Neeson and Maggie Grace. Very looking forward to this one. In the meantime, feel free to follow us on all the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple. You're listening to us now, so however you're doing that, it's a great method. We're also on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. We have a lot of ways that you can interact with us. But if you want to find a one-stop shop for all that, just go to linktree.com/rottengems. We have been your Rotten Gems crew. We'll see you next time with Taken. But until then, what do we always say, fellas?
We're not like other podcasters.
If you can't accessorize, pulverize.